Good night, boys and girls. Welcome to Bedtime Bible Adventures with Auntie Katie and all right. I hope you had a good day and you are ready for another adventure in the Bible. And we last looked at the Israelites going into Jericho. Of course, the walls of Jericho, it fell down because they marched around it for 7 days. And on the seventh day, they marched 7 times, and God allowed the walls of Jericho to fall down. So after that, we have the Gibeons who were very deceptive. They lied to Israel. And of course, we'll be talking about the war for Canaan. And of course, the land is going to be divided and Israel's cities of refuge. So let's get straight into it. Remember, your sleep time is fast approaching. All right. So we're going to have some fun learning about our history, learning about what happened to the Israelites. So Gibeon lies to Israel, and we are still in the book of Joshua, but now at chapter 9, verse 1 to 27. So the tribes in Canaan heard about Israel at Jericho, and they prepared to fight the invaders. Not far from Israel's camp lived the Gibeonites. They knew they couldn't fight Israel, so they decided to make peace. Look at that. They are willing to make peace, boys and girls. And now the men of Gibeon came to Joshua wearing worn and ragged clothes. We have come from a far country. The things you did at Jericho are well known. We want to be your friends and make peace. Joshua and the elders of Israel did not ask God what to do. Boys and girls, they are not relying on themselves. They're not asking God what to do. They agreed not to destroy the Gibeonites. Later on, Joshua learned that their cities were very near. At first, the leaders of Israel were angry. They wanted to break the agreement with Gibeon. Joshua called them back to Israel's camp. Why did you lie to us? The Gibeonites answered, we heard God had promised Moses this land. We were afraid for our lives, but now we are in your hands. Do what you like with us. That day, Joshua made them woodcutters and water carriers for Israel. From that time, the people of Gibeon served the camp of Israel, right? So the Gibeonites were very tricky, right? They dressed as if they were poor because they were afraid of actually being killed because they heard what God had done in Jericho, right? They're tricky, but let's continue the story, right? And we are now in Joshua chapter 10, verse 1 to chapter 11, verse 23. And we're talking about the war for Canaan. Now, the largest city near Israel's camp was Jerusalem. Have you ever heard about Jerusalem, boys and girls? Yes, a lot of us would have heard about Jerusalem, right? Especially the New Jerusalem if you go to church. Now, there the people worshipped idols, which are false gods. The king of Jerusalem joined with 4 nearby cities to destroy Gibeon. They made peace with our enemy, Israel, they said. Soon the people of Gideon heard this. They went to Joshua and said, come quickly and help us. Hurry before it is too late. The entire country is coming to kill us. Joshua moved swiftly. He called out his army. All night they marched up the mountain. Suddenly they came upon the 5 kings at Bethoron. There they fought a great battle. The enemy panicked and the Lord rained hailstones on their armies. Boys and girls, you remember about hailstones or hail? Yes, that happened. That was one of the plagues back then on the Egyptians, right? Pharaoh. But then, so Israel destroyed the armies of the five kings. Then Joshua turned north to fight the kings there. At the lake of Merom, he defeated the northern kings. There were 6 great marches and 6 battles in Israel's war for Canaan. 3 were east of the Jordan River while Moses was alive. Joshua won the battles of Jericho, Bethoram, and Merom west of the river. But many years passed before Israel won all the land. So this happened over a period of times, boys and girls. So this was not something that happened in a year. It was a few years well, right? And we're continuing in Joshua. We're now at Joshua chapter 15, verse 1 to Joshua chapter 19, verse 51. And we're looking at the land is divided. What could possibly be happening here after they defeated those kings? I'm wondering. But guess what? Let's not wonder too long because it's almost bedtime. So let's go in. God commanded Joshua to divide the land among the people. There were 12 tribes in Israel, one for each of the sons of Jacob. 2 tribes and half of another had already been given their land. They lived on the other side of the Jordan River. This left the 9½ tribes to be given land. Judah was given the mountain country west of the Dead Sea. Simeon was on the south toward the desert. Benjamin was north of Judah toward the Jordan River. In the middle of the country lived the tribe of Ephraim. This is where Joseph was finally buried. Ephraim was a son of Joseph. Joshua lived in Ephraim because he belonged to that tribe. North of Ephraim lived the other half of the tribe of Manasseh. 4 tribes lived in the northern part of the land. Issachar was in the south. Asher lived in the west by the sea. Zebulun was in the middle in the mountains. Naphtali was in the north by what is now called the Sea of Galilee. The land was no longer called Canaan. It became known as the land of Israel. Yes, because God had given the land of Canaan to the Israelites, right? So now we see it wasn't a bad thing. They conquered the land of Canaan and God just say, okay, let's divide it. Y'all live there. Each tribe lives somewhere. Amazing, right? Amazing, boys and girls. I love this. Right now, we're going to be looking at Israel's cities of refuge, and we're racing along. We're now in Joshua chapter 20, verse 1 to 9. Boys and girls, I want to encourage you once more to get your parents to invest in a Bible for you. If you have a Bible, please read it. If you haven't as yet, please look at YouTube for the Bible book so you are able to listen to the audio versions and stay in tune. It's amazing, boys and girls, right? So Israel's cities of refuge, Joshua chapter 20, verse 1 to 9. So God told Moses to choose 6 cities for a special purpose. That was when Moses was alive. These were to be the cities of refuge. People sometimes kill others by accident. If this happened in Israel, they could be safe in these cities. This was a law of God that had been given by Moses. Before that, if someone killed another by accident, they too were killed. Let me read that back for you, boys and girls, about the city of refuge, right? People sometimes kill others by accident. If this happened in Israel, they could be safe in these cities, and that's why we have the 6 cities of refuge, right? This was a law of God that had been given by Moses. Before that, so before the law, if you killed another by accident, they would kill you too. The dead man's relatives would kill you. It didn't matter if it was an accident. What a time that was. Oh my, I wouldn't want to be around at that time. I'm sorry. Right? I'm so sorry. It's scary. It's very scary as we look at history, but that's just me, boys and girls. Now, let's look at an example. If an axe slipped and killed a man, the man holding the axe would have to pay with his life. It's an accident. Imagine, God forbid, someone is driving and someone walks out or something happened and they kill someone. They have to also die. Whoa, that's a lot of bloodshed. That's a lot of tears. Oh my, I don't want to be there. Or there might be a hunting accident where a man was killed. The other hunter would be killed by the dead man's relatives. But Moses' new law brought justice to these cases. Yes, that's good. Because no, people didn't have to suffer, right? The penalty of death because something accidentally happened and it caused someone to die. Their family didn't have to mourn the loss of them, but of course, their families would be sad that they had to leave to go to one of these refuge cities. When such an accident occurred, the innocent person could run to a refuge city. The elders there would decide if the death was an accident. Then the innocent man could safely live there in the refuge city. When the high priest died, he could return to his first home. There he could live in peace without fear. This is one way Israel's law has made life better. Boys and girls, it is, whew, it's a lot, right? But again, the adventure, it continues, and we will look at more adventures of the Bible tomorrow's night. But boys and girls, I don't know about you, but as much as I love to hear these stories, the things that the Israelites went through back then, I Auntie Katie don't think she could manage, right? But even though I said I couldn't manage living in that time, with God's grace and mercy, I may overcome, right? And I would have overcome because I'm a child of God. I'm worthy and I'm valued. And I love God and I trust Him. So I would have done as He asked of me. Have yourself a good night, boys and girls. Auntie Katie loves you. God loves you. Please remember to pray. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you as our adventure in the Bible continues. Love you all. Mwah. Take care from Auntie Katie and bye-bye.